There is a moment, quiet and unassuming, when a soul meets a mirror. In that reflection lies a choice: to keep drifting toward a horizon called one day, or to anchor in the present, to breathe in the weight of day one. This choice is not external, it's an inner alignment, a crossing of a threshold few dare to notice. We are not creatures of random fate. We are living myths, wrapped in skin, driven by symbols, shaped by shadows. The story of your transformation does not begin when the world allows it. It begins when you allow it. One day is the lullaby we sing to ourselves when we're afraid to wake up. It is the soft whisper that tells us, not now, maybe later, as though time will eventually grant us the courage we currently lack. But what we often fail to see is that the future is a fantasy, a projection, a ghost image made of our hopes and fears, stitched together by fragments of the past. We treat it as if it's something we can hold, plan, and control, but in truth, the future is an illusion that only ever exists in the imagination. The present, by contrast, is not as gentle. It does not flatter. It does not wait. It confronts, it demands, it asks us to choose. The present is not dressed in golden promises or visions of success. It is raw, it is uncertain, and it is immensely powerful, because here, only here, do we have the capacity to act. The present is the crucible where transformation occurs, where the unconscious meets the conscious and demands a reckoning. To anchor yourself in the now is to refuse the seduction of later. It is to recognize that no amount of strategizing, fantasizing, or intellectualizing will ever replace the moment of actual decision. This is the difficult truth. If you cannot start now, then one day will remain forever out of reach. The person you want to become is not waiting for you in the distance. They are buried beneath the choices you refuse to make today. And yet, the moment you choose, truly choose, the veil lifts. You realize you are never waiting for the right time. You are waiting for the courage to own the moment you are already in. The future was never meant to save you. It was meant to be shaped by you. But only if you dare to claim tea every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow." Something deep within you hears it. Not just your conscious mind, but the hidden part of you that watches quietly from the edges. That part is the shadow, the reservoir of every neglected truth, every unacknowledged desire, every fear you pretend not to feel. And the shadow is patient, but it is not passive. It does not wait politely for you to be ready. It grows, it adapts. It watches how often you betray your own potential with delay. The shadow doesn't feed on evil. It feeds on avoidance. It becomes stronger not because you are bad, but because you refuse to see yourself completely. And every time you push your real needs aside with a vague promise of one day, the shadow learns that you are unwilling to face your own inner world. It thrives in that silence, in that postponement, and eventually it becomes so powerful that it no longer hides. It begins to act through you. You find yourself self-sabotaging, procrastinating, erupting in anger, drowning in numbness or distraction. You say, "I don't know why I keep doing this," but your shadow does. It has been waiting for your attention, not to punish you, but to reintegrate, to be seen, to be brought out of the darkness and into dialogue. And it will not rest until you acknowledge it. Day one is not a motivational slogan. It is a spiritual confrontation. It is the moment you decide to turn inward and say, "I see you." Not to fight the shadow, but to understand it. Because buried within it is not just your pain, but your power. The same energy you use to deny yourself can be reclaimed and redirected, but only when you stop waiting. Only when you stop hoping the shadow will resolve itself with time. The truth is that the longer you delay your own healing, the more your unclaimed self will act out. Not because it hates you, but because it is you, and it refuses to be forgotten. There is no perfect moment to begin. There is only now, and the shadow does not care whether you feel ready. It wants you to be honest, and honesty begins the moment you stop saying one day and start saying enough. In choosing day one, you are not just beginning a new path, you are calling your shadow into the light, and with it, reclaiming the fullness of who you are, his breath, this step, this sacred now. We often believe that meaning is something we can think our way into, that if we hold the right intention, the universe will align itself accordingly, but the unconscious does not respond to intentions alone, it responds to action. Symbols, those profound messengers from the depths of the psyche, do not stir for your hopes, plans, or affirmations. They move when you move, they reveal their power when you act. To declare one day is to speak from the realm of the ideal, where things remain untouched, theoretical, safe. But symbols are not passive ornaments of the mind. They are living forces. They demand participation. To say, "I will begin someday," creates no resonance in the soul. It is a dead note, an echo of a wish without a will. But the moment you act, even imperfectly, even clumsily, the unconscious responds. It opens. It rearranges. The symbol stirs. When you take action, real, embodied action, you are speaking the language of the inner world. You are no longer watching your life like a spectator. You are stepping into the myth of your own becoming, the smallest gesture, writing a single sentence, taking one step toward change, choosing discipline over comfort, can carry the weight of a ritual. In doing so, you send a message not only to the outer world, but to the archetypal forces within you. I am ready. The psyche does not recognize empty plans. It sees sacrifice, commitment, risk. It honors the one who dares to move, not the one who endlessly prepares to. The act of beginning transforms not just your outer path, but the internal architecture of your identity. You stop being the dreamer of change and become the agent of it. And this shift, this moment when you cross from intention into action, is the true invocation of the symbol. It is when the sword you dreamed of becomes the sword you wield. The fire you feared becomes the fire you walk through. The image of who you could be becomes a living presence, watching you, guiding you, testing you. So if you wait until you feel certain, until your mind is aligned and your path is mapped, you will find that the symbols remain dormant. But the moment you choose day one, the moment you move, everything changes. Because the unconscious does not respond to your ideas about life, it responds to your living. Resistance is not a mistake. It is not a flaw in your design or a sign that you are unworthy of the path you are trying to walk. It is, in fact, the surest evidence that you are standing before something meaningful. The presence of resistance means you are at the threshold of transformation, and transformation does not come without guardians. We often mistake resistance for failure. We feel the heaviness in our chest, the inner pull to delay, the flood of distractions, and we assume that something is wrong with us. But resistance is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are approaching something sacred, something real enough to provoke the deepest parts of your psyche to respond. There is a gate within each of us, a barrier between who we are and who we are becoming. And standing at that gate is resistance, not as an enemy, but as a guardian, not to block your way out of cruelty, but to ensure you are ready. The threshold of any meaningful change is always protected by doubt, fear, and inertia. These forces rise not to punish you, but to ask you, do you mean it? Are you willing to die to who you were in order to become who you must be? You see, the ego wants comfort, certainty, and repetition. But the soul wants depth, transformation, and truth. And these two forces will always collide at the edge of change. Resistance emerges as the voice of the past, urging you to stay the same. It reminds you of your failures, whispers lies about your limitations, and floods you with reasons to delay. It knows your habits, your weak points, your comfort zones. It knows exactly how to keep you small. But beneath the discomfort, it also carries a strange invitation. Prove yourself worthy of what you say you desire. To feel resistance is not to be cursed, it is to be called. You are being summoned into battle, not against the world, but against the internal forces that have kept you bound. Resistance asks for your courage, your persistence, your full presence, and when you begin, when you choose day one, resistance will not disappear, it will intensify because now the gate is opening, but if you face it, if you continue despite it, something begins to shift. The energy once used to hold you back becomes fuel for the path ahead. You begin to see resistance not as an adversary but as a teacher. It shows you where your soul is invested. It reveals your attachments, your wounds, your fears. And in that revealing, it offers you the material of transformation. No hero crosses into a new life without a trial. Resistance is your trial. It asks nothing less than everything from you. But if you rise, if you push through the trembling, the doubt, the ache of change, you do not just move forward, you ascend, you pass the guardian and enter into a deeper version of yourself, and then, for just a moment, resistance bows. Not because you defeated it, but because you honored it, because you proved with your action that you are not just dreaming of the life you want, you are building it, one step at a time. We long for clarity before we begin. We wait for signs, for certainty, for some divine assurance that the path ahead is right, safe, or guaranteed to succeed. But the truth is, no such clarity will come before the first step. The path is not a map laid out in advance. It is a mystery that reveals itself only through movement, through risk, through stepping into the unknown. The desire to see the entire journey before committing is a form of fear. It is the ego's way of preserving control, of protecting itself from disappointment, failure, or transformation. But the soul plays by different rules. The soul is not concerned with guarantees. It is concerned with growth. It asks not for your strategy, but for your surrender. It asks you to begin not because you know, but because you trust. When you stand still, endlessly planning and preparing, you are not in alignment with life. You are orbiting it. Life does not reward hesitation with more certainty. It rewards courage with revelation. The moment you take a single step, no matter how small, something ancient and powerful stirs within you. A door opens, a light appears, and the terrain that was invisible begins to take form. This is the sacred paradox. The path does not exist until you walk it. You are not discovering something already finished. You are co-creating it with every movement, every choice, every act of faith. And yes, it will be imperfect. Yes, you will make mistakes, but those mistakes are part of the unfolding. They are the earth beneath your feet taking shape in response to your willingness to move. You do not need to know where the road ends to take the first step. You do not need a full vision of who you will become. All you need is the courage to meet the moment you are in with honesty and presence. The way forward is revealed to those who move, not those who wait. There is an inner architecture that only builds itself around action. Insight, intuition, even divine guidance. These are not static things to be discovered in stillness alone. They awaken in response to motion. The hand of fate cannot meet you if you are not moving toward it. Your destiny is not waiting somewhere far away. It is born the moment your feet touch the ground with intention. The longer you wait for the perfect moment, the further you drift from yourself. The longer you hesitate, the more you ask life to give you proof before you offer your participation. But the proof comes after, not before. It comes in synchronicities, in resilience, in the quiet strength that surprises you when you need it most. But it never comes until you begin, so take the step. However uncertain, however afraid you may feel, know this: even if your voice trembles, even if your hands shake, the step is real, and once taken, it will change you, not because the world has shifted, but because you have. You will have moved from dreaming into doing, from fearing into trusting, from one day into day one. And that is when the path will appear, stone by stone, breath by breath, lit by the fire of your own becoming. So I ask you now, not with judgment, but with sacred urgency, how long will you delay your own birth? Will you wait for alignment or realize you are the alignment? There is no clearer message than this. The door is open, the path is dark, the torch is in your hand. It is not one day, it is day one, and you are already walking.